Iran is just one part of Donald Trump's growing list of pet peeves, warring with China on trade, schooling Venezuela in democracy, and a little back and forth with North Korea. That is the bullet point, easy to digest summary of Mr. Trump's America this week. He's fighting with everyone, basically. Iran's case, though, is the most critical of them all. Here's how the cookie crumbled on that front. In January this year, after America ditched the Iran deal, Europe found a way out, or so they thought. The UK, Germany and France created a workaround, something that would enable non-dollar trade between Iran and the EU. The aim was to allow for European exports of medicines and food to Iran. A month later, in February, Iran launched a new cruise missile in the Strait of Hormuz. The EU expressed concern over the move. The U.S. Vice President Mike Pence used a visit to Warsaw to demand European powers withdraw from the Iran deal. In March, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani said his country will file a legal case against American sanctions. Washington responded with still more sanctions. It placed sanctions on 25 people and entities accused of supporting Iran's Revolutionary Guard. Then in April, and crucially just days ahead of Israel's election, President Donald Trump designated the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Iranian military, a foreign terrorist organization. It's the first for the U.S., calling another country's military, in fact, a terrorist group. The month of May began with Iran designating all American troops in West Asia as terrorists, tit for tat. Then the U.S. first extended some key waivers, allowing Iran to operate a limited civil nuclear program, but that was no olive branch. 2 days later, it said it is sending a bomber task force to the region to counter a quote-unquote credible threat from Iran. No details are forthcoming on what this threat may be. The month of May also saw the end of U.S. sanction waivers for 8 countries importing crude oil from Iran, and that list includes India. Basically, the American news was tightening around Iran. It has been for a while now. In the last few days, though, things have touched fever pitch. Iran has announced it is scaling down its commitment to the nuclear deal. The U.S. has responded with more sanctions, this time on Iran's metal industry. And those trading with Iran will also come under these sanctions. Donald Trump has said he is open to talks with Iran's leadership. But it's unlikely that Tehran will play ball. Meanwhile, there's been mixed reaction to this downward spiral from the world over. The European Union, France, Germany, the UK, they say that they will not bow to ultimatums, and they're committed to maintaining and fulfilling the Iran nuclear deal. But they did express concern to Iran's scale back. Russia has called Iran's reaction undesirable, but it has placed the blame for it on American provocations. They're basically saying that America is to blame for the way Iran is behaving. China has also blamed American decisions for this heightened tension. Not surprisingly, Israel has backed the U.S. through and through. Meanwhile, India has maintained a strategic silence, not surprising at all. But there's not much for Iran to go on. So far, the takedown of the U.S. is limited in semantics. In real terms, it means very little for Iran, which continues to face its worst economic crisis in decades.